Gorilla 7 video series. In this lesson, we're going to learn how to import a final draft screenplay into Gorilla scheduling. Gorilla accepts the following screenplay formats: the FDX file format used by Final Draft, the SEX file format used by Movie Magic Screenwriter, and the Fountain format, which is an open source screenplay format that can be used in any word processing program. Let's go ahead and open a screenplay in Final Draft. I'm using Final Draft version 11, which is different than Final Draft 10. If you are using version 10, check out the same video we made for Gorilla 6, which uses that version. The first thing I want to point out is how to properly format a slug line. The slug line includes the interior-exterior field, followed by a period, the set field, followed by a dash, followed by the day-night field. In this instance, day. To show this better, let's take a look at some of the incorrect formatting styles a lot of writers make. Here you can see the proper way to format a slug line, and some of the improper ways. Notice the first one. Many times writers will use the interior-exterior field followed by two dashes, the set field, another two dashes, and then the day-night field. Look at the second one, which just uses periods all throughout the slug line, including after the set field. The last two are more examples on how to not write a slug line, with the use of a continued or later that day at the end of the slug line. Writers will also use phrases like moments later or an hour later. You need to enter a time of day at the end of your slug line. Some of the acceptable entries for the day-night field are shown here. Notice that all these options are actual times of day: day, night, morning, afternoon, etc. Now, that is not to say you cannot use other times of day. If you do, you will have to create that time of day entry into Gorilla so that it has an associated strip color. I will show you how to do that in another lesson. So let's go back to the screenplay. The next thing I want to explain is scene numbering. Notice that in this screenplay, the scenes are numbered. You can see that very clearly on the left and on the right-hand sides of the screen. Normally, when you first start a screenplay, and I'm going to create a new blank screenplay right now, you will notice that the scenes are not numbered, which is fine. As a writer, you just want to concentrate on writing the screenplay. However, when you are preparing the screenplay for export, you want to make sure that all your scenes are numbered. In order to number your scenes, go up to the Production menu. Now remember, this is in Final Draft. Select the Scene Numbers option and select the Number Renumber checkbox and click OK. Once you do that, all your scenes will be numbered. Next, I want to explain what exports from your exported file into Gorilla. Now, this depends on which screenplay program you are using. If you are using Final Draft's FDX file format, then everything comes into Gorilla. This includes the slug line, the scene number, the action, the characters, the dialogue, and if you tagged your elements using tags mode in Final Draft, all your elements and what scenes that they are attached to also come in. So, for example, let's take a look at Scene 6. In this scene, Barney has some dialogue. This means that Barney will be imported into Gorilla both as a character, and Barney will be attached to Scene 6 in the breakdown sheet. If we go to another scene, and here's another example in Scene 7, where Barney and Chubby are both characters in a scene,
But notice that Chubby does not have any dialogue. This means that when we export this, Barney will be attached to scene 7, but Chubby will not, even though he is part of the scene and does need to be attached to this scene. I'm going to save this FDX file and move it to the My Screenplays folder, which is in the Saved Schedules folder. Now, if you're using Movie Magic Screenwriter as your screenplay program, most everything that you need also comes into Gorilla. The only data that doesn't is the action and the dialogue, which does come in with the Final Draft FDX file, so that you can actually see the screenplay in Gorilla. If you are using Movie Magic Screenwriter, you need to export your screenplay into the .sex file format. In order to do that, go to the File pull-down menu, select the Export To option, and select the Gorilla Scheduling option. Now, before we import one of the screenplay files that we just exported, I want to comment on foreign language screenplays. If you are writing a screenplay in a language other than English, that's fine. Just make sure that the interior-exterior entry and the day-night entry is in English. The rest of your screenplay, including the set field, action, dialogue, etc., can all be in another language. Now, let's go to Gorilla and see what we've got. If you select the New or Load Schedule button, and then select the Import Screenplay button, you will be asked if you are importing an FDX file or a SEX file. For this lesson, I will select the FDX file, since we will import all the information from the screenplay into Gorilla. When the import is complete, you will be taken to the Breakdown Sheets screen. Now, this is a special note. If you are using Movie Magic Screenwriter, which exports to the .sex file format, and you really do want to see the screenplay in Gorilla just like you can with the FDX, the Final Draft screenplay, there is a solution for this. Check out the lesson on how to import a Movie Magic Screenwriter file into Gorilla. Since this lesson is more focused on Final Draft, let me show you how to export the screenplay in the .sex file format. The only reason you would want to consider this option is if you have some issues importing the .fdx file, which is an XML file and is prone to more import errors. Go back to Final Draft, and this time select Export from the File pull-down menu, and then select Script. In the File Format drop-down, select Scheduling Export .sex. Let's now import this file into Gorilla and compare it to the previously imported .fdx file. This time, when importing, select the .sex file and locate that file. Notice a couple things. First, the file does import faster since it is a binary file. Second, the synopsis does not import into the synopsis field. Now, the synopsis is actually just the first action for the scene. Also notice that the screenplay display does not import, as that information is not contained in the .sex file. However, the scene information and everything you need to get started breaking down your schedule, including page count, which is crucial, does come in. That's a wrap. Have a great shoot.